Perfect.
Never done it that way before.
Now, can they talk? Because this
Mhm.
is Zoom. Okay, so they can actually jump in. Okay.
They can, but usually what I do is I
Mute.
mute them all because they'll get
Sometimes
good.
you get that background noise from somebody
Yeah.
who's got their
Okay.
music.
Catherine.
Maybe
Okay.
the last 10 minutes, we can open it up.
Yeah, we can. Oh, David's here. Nice. We had 24, 25 register.
Wow, that's
So we've got 18, 16 in. Does that say
Yep.
16?
That's
16 in
great.
now. So we'll get started. People will come, I'll come over and do it.
okay.
Should be. All right. And we'll come over here. There we
Hello.
go. Hey, there we go.
Hey,
Oh, you look pretty with your earrings.
thank you. Friend gave them to me. Aren't those cool? Want to see my pants?
We missed your pants. I'll bet you they're pretty though.
You have to
They
show
are.
off.
You got to see my pants.
Oh,
They're
there-
tie-dye. They're tie-dye.
nice.
I love that green.
Fancy schmancy.
Can you see it?
Right here.
Yep.
Yep.
Gorgeous.
Yep. Awesome.
What a great group.
All right. There's probably going to be a couple people coming in late, so we'll go ahead and we're going to get started here for a second. But Catherine, I want to say hi to you. I haven't seen you in a while. That's awesome. Carrie, I haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you. Pat, nice to see you. All right, beautiful. The rest of you I've seen recently for the most part. So hello again to all of you. So thanks for joining us. We're going to try to keep this right about an hour. At the end, we're going to probably do about 10 minutes or so of question and answer. Although if you have a burning question and you really want to ask it, you can throw it in the chat, or you can unmute and just kind of throw it out there and then make sure you mute yourself. So there's no background noise. I'm going to mute everybody when we start, but again, I can't unmute you. You'll have to unmute yourself. Okay. Sherri Kari Baum is here.
Hi, guys.
And with us, all the way down from Brookings, Oregon. So we're very, very happy and lucky to have her with us tonight. Sherri's got an amazing background. She's a nurse. She is a nutritional nurse. She is a midwife. She's been a nurse for more than 20, no, more than that, 30 something, 40 years. Yeah. A long time. But has made plant-based eating and focus on food and nutrition her main topic for the last several years, 25 plus years. She's got an enormous amount of research on the subject. So if you have questions on stuff that you've read, things that you think are supposed to be perfect, they might be, they might not be, but this is a great resource for you to ask those questions. Again, the chat is a great place to throw them in. If we don't get to all the questions, I will make sure that we answer them all and we'll get them to you after. So don't worry. Sherri's going to also do a few recipes. You'll get those recipes. We're also recording, so we'll have that recording. So if there's something that we say that you're like, oh, you don't have to sit there and take notes. You can just sit back and relax and enjoy. And then if you want to take notes, you can. But we're gonna get going. Okay.
Okay.
Sherri, thank you for being here with us. I wanted to start real quick with tell us why you haven't always been plant-based, plant-forward. No, we're using plant-forward because Sherri does not identify as a vegan. Everything she eats is plants. But plant-forward I really liked that because I eat fish and I eat chicken. I try to eat most of my food, whole food and plant, but I like the plant-forward because you don't have to commit to anything.
Well, and you're just committing to your health, whatever that might look like for whoever's here, because unfortunately, a lot of times vegan food isn't healthy. A lot of times people feel like it's all or nothing. And what Deb and I are trying to get across is you can improve your health with small changes if that's all you're able to do right now. The more plants you introduce in your life, the better your results are going to be, whether it's better cholesterol, whether it's weight loss, energy gain, sleeping better, all of those things we know are impacted by what we eat, including our cancer risks, our diabetes risks, our heart disease risks.
So I love that. You don't have to make a huge commitment to change everything and go into your pantry and throw
Throw
everything
everything out.
away. Oftentimes, if I've been in your home and we've talked about your protein powder and you say, hey, I've got this great whey protein, and I tell you why that whey protein isn't great, I'm like, finish it, don't throw it away, and then go and buy your plant-based. And this is the same thing. It's those little changes as you learn, as you take it in. Oh, I can make this change. This is going to be more realistic for me. So I love that. So we're not asking you to empty the pantry yet. Okay.
Nope. And what we're wanting you to do is just increase your plants. You can do it the way I do it, where you're completely plant-based, but that can also be a goal. And remember, the more you invest, the better the results are going to be. So the more commitment you make, the better results. Okay.
So we chatted a little bit ago, and I know this about you. You lost a significant amount of weight prior to going plant forward. You weren't.
Prior to plant
Right.
forward, I was not. I was gaining and gaining and gaining. It
At age 50-ish, menopause.
And it was so funny because I had an excuse for why I was gaining weight, right? It was menopause. It was like, I'm 50, I'm struggling. The kids are moving away. It's only me. I work so much. I just had lovely excuses. I even convinced myself that I lost my weight. This is my theory, that I remembered my daughter when she was in pre-junior high, like 10 or 11, and they had that no tummy, right? They just were flat from here down to here. And I thought, well, that's really similar because now I don't have hormones. She didn't have hormones then, so I must have no shape because I'm losing my estrogen. No, I had no shape because of the food I was eating. It was, I was losing my curves. I was just padding them, I guess you should say.
And the
So-
other things that were happening too, just a few things that were happening in Sherri. She had 2 kids, they were moving away. She had several deaths in the family due to
Sudden heart attack.
heart attacks.
Sudden heart attack.
Sudden.
That's where you come home and your life is just changed in 30 seconds.
So that was happening. Menopause was happening. All those wonderful things right in the middle of life.
Graduate school.
Oh yeah, you were going to school too. That too.
Graduate school.
Working full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot of excuses. I really did. But, at one point I had to realize that I was either going to get control of it or it was going to control me. And it was also things like pain in my knees. Like I wanted to find the closest parking spot because my knees and my hips hurt because I was carrying an extra 40 plus pounds. So,
And probably inflammatory foods. in
oh,
your body as well.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
So we're gonna focus a little bit if we can, and then we're gonna get to some good stuff, okay?
Yeah.
Real quickly, the 2 things that are most important to me and to my audience, I think, is how do you get enough protein?
Yeah.
Let's start there. How do you get enough protein if all you're doing is eating plants?
Well,
Because I want you to eat 80 to 85,
Yeah.
right? And try to get close to 100. So how
And-
do you do that?
basically, it's a myth that you have to have complete protein from an animal. We know science has finally disproven that you have to eat food together to get complete protein. You can get complete protein by eating a diet, and it doesn't have to be only rice and beans, only tofu. All of the food combined are going to give you those inputs. The total, and your liver produces some of them. So if you're short, for whatever reasons, the liver is going to help produce some of those enzymes to complete the protein. So you're going to get plenty of it. And I did a meal for Debbie, and the calorie count was like 1270.
I'm gonna share it with you, don't worry.
Yeah, we'll share it with you, but it also had 83 grams of protein.
83 grams of protein.
So
83. Wow.
83, because Deb recommends 80 to 90 when you're doing weightlifting and heavy exercise, right? To build muscle and to keep your muscle. So this was only plants. There's no supplements. There wasn't even protein powder, I don't think. Was there?
1 protein powder, yeah, then
Oh, 1 protein powder?
yeah, 1 scoop.
Okay. And what we would actually do is, because I'm not a huge fan of protein powder, close your ears. Because again, it's processed food in a way, right? They've extracted the protein from it. So I'm more of a tofu, beans, nuts, that kind of a whole food plant-based person. So you're going to get plenty of protein. You're going to get the amount of protein you need. You just might have to be creative, like Kiwan, complete protein, tofu, tempeh, all these things that you can eat and add into your diet, as well as beans, rice. There's protein in spinach. There's protein in kale. So you're going to get what you need. You just need to eat a well-rounded diet.
So I'll give you some examples of what that looks like so we can get enough. I have a quick, oh wait, the second one was calcium.
Calcium.
So we've got, several of the people that are working, my clients, osteoporosis, osteopenia, and or heading in that direction, just simply because of age,
and
menopause,
Right.
all of that stuff.
Um,
So how do we get
couple
enough
things.
protein without popping that pill?
Popping the pill or eating dairy. Because really dairy is high fat, it's high hormones. It's really not the optimal choice for us as humans. It's made for baby cows, baby goats, and baby sheep. You know, just like humans. I mean, milk is specific to the creature, right? Cow milk is to get cows to suddenly become, what, a half a ton within a year, 6 months? I mean, truly, so there's growth hormones. They're really trying to fatten the cattle up. So what do you think happens to us when we keep eating a bunch of dairy? We're gonna get fat, right? And the calcium, they've done studies, the calcium in dairy really isn't optimal for us to absorb or for our bones. We do better with plant calcium.
So it doesn't mean eating it is bad. It just means we do better with plant calcium.
You know, I'm not the milk.
Right.
Or
I know you're
dairy.
not. I know you're not.
I just
But
wanna
our
throw
key,
it out
but
there.
our key, I know you're not, and I want you to hear both sides.
Yeah, you
because
gotta hear both sides.
Our key docs are saying calcium, calcium, calcium. Yes, that's what we're
Well,
hearing from the
but
docs.
We're talking a
In terms of,
different.
they'll say dairy, dairy, dairy.
Oh, they do say dairy.
Mhm.
Okay, so, okay,
So I'm not gonna say don't do it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say the docs are saying dairy because that's a quick one. That's
it's a quick one, and it's also what we've been taught.
Right.
It's what we've been told since any of us were about knee high, was that you can only get your calcium from dairy. And in that meal plan that you guys are all gonna have copies of, it's just an example. It talks about having, I think it was 1,200 grams of calcium. And when you're getting your calcium from plants and beans and tofu and all those other things, it's more absorbable. It's more readily absorbable for your bones. So it may not be 1,500, but 1,200 is sufficient when you're getting it from plants.
Correct.
Okay.
And the other thing that I was doing research too, and it was saying that, and I was talking to a couple of doctors about this as well, who confirmed it, saying that we wanted 1,500 because they're assuming that a significant amount is not going to be absorbed.
Right.
So they
Especially
tell
fat.
us to do 1,500, but we're not absorbing all of that. So we're probably getting somewhere between 900 and 1,000 efficient absorptions.
And if you
So
think about it, plants with calcium, right? Kale and collard greens and beet tops, all of those come with not just calcium, they come with iron, they come with vitamin D, well, not D, but vitamin K and vitamin C and all those things that work in conjunction with calcium so that you absorb it even better. Okay?
So they're telling you what the quickest, easiest way is, and we're
Well,
gonna give you some options that. you
And
don't
what
have to go that
Americans
way.
will do.
Yeah,
Like a lot of
correct.
times I would talk to doctors and it's like, why don't you hound these people about their weight? They're struggling. They can't walk, they can't move, they're in constant pain, their back hurts. And they're like, because Sherri, they won't listen.
Mm.
So basically what we need to get across to not only providers, but to the public is, we know you can do this. You know, I don't ever want to just make people feel like it's not possible, it's not reachable, and that you're not teachable. Because
Good point, yeah.
unfortunately, healthcare providers forget that we are adults and we are teachable, but you need to give us the information. Don't assume I can't figure it out.
Great.
Okay.
Cool.
So
Okay.
that's my tangent, but
We'll have a few more. We'll have a few.
Oh,
We'll
no,
bounce back and
me,
forth.
no,
Okay,
we do.
so let's
So,
go. What are you gonna show us?
First,
Protein
I
and
wanna
calcium.
start with the breakfast, and I want to give you guys a couple of breakfasts, not just one, but we're going to do a protein shake because a lot of people feel like protein shakes are just, they don't know how to do it. And I want to reassure you that it's pretty simple. So basically we start with a blender. We're
Do I
gonna
get to hand
add-
you stuff?
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
a really
there you
good
go.
sous chef.
There you go. We're going to do berries. Nope.
So
What did I call it?
Protein shake.
Oh, it's a smoothie protein shake. So this was 2 cups of berries. Now I like starting my day with berries. Berries are incredibly important for your brain and your blood vessels. They're anti-inflammatory.
And there's a study that was done here in San Diego State, that said if you do a half a cup of blueberries every day, there's a significant change in bone density. So there was a direct relation to blueberry specific to
Blueberry.
osteoporosis.
Now, the one thing caveat I want to say is, I don't know if you guys know about something called Dirty Dozen and Clean 15, but there's a
We can look it up.
site that tells you which fruit, vegetables have the highest amount of pesticides. And unfortunately, berries are one of the highest pesticided items. And so I always try to get frozen, organic blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, whatever berry I can get. I don't always try to get organic. I only try to get organic if it's on the Dirty 15 because I know it's more expensive. Berries are tough to keep, right? They go bad really fast. So that's why I do frozen. And they've done studies that show you're going to get the same amount of nutrition out of frozen berries as you're going to get out of the other, maybe even more, because they're not losing their vitamin C. They're flash frozen typically.
And what we talked about earlier is that oftentimes in your frozen foods, those are a solid package. They're
Yeah.
not clear. So if the package is solid, if you think about coffee, it's always in a black container. They don't want it to have, you don't want it to have air, or you don't want it to have light. The same is true with food. Anytime
Yeah.
food is exposed to light or air, it oxidizes, it loses a little bit of nutrients. Now it loses nutrients from that truck in Mexico all the way to here, or the
Yeah.
plane from Costa Rica all the way to here. But what Sherri's talking about with the frozen foods, right?
It's
It's like
flash frozen.
it's
So-
flash frozen and it's in a sealed bag.
Yeah, spinach, kale, any of those, especially right now when we're looking at such high food prices, right? So go for the frozen and the frozen organic isn't very expensive. You can put it in soups, you can do all of that. I go to Costco and I buy those giant pound bags of blueberries and I usually buy about 6 because I don't live near a Costco. And
That's what happens when you
freezer
live on the
stack-
border of Oregon.
Oh, yeah, that's when you live
California,
in a
the
small
corner.
town. Okay, so we've got our berries. We're gonna add bananas. Now, I want you guys to know how few calories this is, but how full you're going to be. Because a lot of people want to lose a little bit of weight, right? Because the less weight, the less pressure on your joints, your knees, you're more likely to be active, you're gonna have other things. So all of these things that we're talking about here are low calorie, high density. And what I mean by that is you're eating a large volume of food because there's so much fiber in it. You're going to fill up and you're not going to keep eating. You're going to say, I'm full, I don't need any more. So you're going to have a lower calorie diet. Because at my age, at 64, I think I'm supposed to get like 1,200
Beautiful,
calories
64.
a day. I mean, when I read that, I was like, wait a minute, that's a
You
meal,
work too hard to
right?
get that, yeah.
That's
You
one
work too hard.
meal. And I'm a volume eater. I say I am a volume eater. I like to eat a large volume of food. And so when you're eating whole food plant-based, you're getting a large volume of food. It's all nutritious. It's going to heal your blood vessels, your brain, all those other organs, as well as fill you up. And you know what? One of the #1 problems with Americans is constipation. Why is it constipation? Why? No
Not
fiber.
enough fiber. Yeah.
Right? We should be eating, I think they say like 25 fiber is a recommended
And
daily.
hydration.
Yeah, but fiber, we should be eating like 70 grams, right?
Okay.
That's what's cleaning out our gut. And we know our gut stands for everything now. Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of plant protein powder. I would prefer tofu. I've got 2 reasons I love tofu, besides that it's tasty, maybe 4 or 5 reasons. Sorry, guys.
Isn't
First
it
of all,
tasty?
yes, it is. It's low
Okay.
calorie, high calcium, because that's how they
Yes,
process.
yes,
right?
definitely high calcium.
And high protein. So really, it's a great thing. So I'm
When you
just,
mix it all with this, then it
oh, you
tastes
don't
good.
even know it.
Right, it
Yeah,
tastes
yeah.
delicious when it's mixed with this.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna just add half. Now I'm making this smoothie for 2 people, not
I'm just
just.
gonna ask you if that
Yeah,
was
this
two.
is 2. Now I'm using silken tofu just because I'm also going to show you how to make mayonnaise, and silken tofu works great with mayonnaise. You can use any kind of tofu you want in here. But I'm just going to save the other half of the tofu.
So
for
silken
later.
tofu is what? Soft?
Yeah, it's really soft. It's more for sauces, things like that. If you want to make a dynamite, and we can send you the recipe for that mousse. Oh man, it's pretty yummy. It's like low calorie. All it's got is cocoa, maple syrup, silken tofu, maybe a little bit of cashew for a tiny bit of fat for
So you
texture.
wouldn't use silken tofu for like a stir fry?
No, because it's gonna get all mushy.
Yeah.
You're gonna use firm or extra firm. And don't be afraid of tofu. For a while there, oh gosh, what was it? 10 years ago, I used to be, as a nurse practitioner for women's health, I was told women who have had breast cancer can't have tofu.
Yeah, because
And-
all that Women's Health Initiative, 2002.
They can't have tofu because of the phytoestrogens. It's going to cause them to get breast cancer again. Well, that's not true. That's been proven that that's false. Bad information, bad study, whatever you want to call it. For studies 5 years after breast cancer, women who eat tofu have least recurrence of cancer. So it's actually really good for us. It's really good for women. The phytoestrogen, which is just part of the plant, part of the bean, is not going to cause men to get boobs, right? It really isn't. Now I'm going to add a little bit of milk just because I want it to be a smoothie and not a ice cream or whatever.
So it's almond milk.
And I'm gonna do about a half a cup. Yeah, I do almond milk. I don't care. What I do is I try to read the label to see how many ingredients. Like you can go to Trader Joe's and get soy milk and the ingredient is soy.
Yeah.
1 and water, and that's it. So you want to get if you're going to use products like this, get the one that has the least number of ingredients in it, because you're going to have a healthier life.
The other
Okay.
thing I did, go ahead and mix that up.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
It's really loud. I don't even know how to do it.
Voila.
Voila. So you can add chia seeds. So why would you add chia seeds? Well, it's going to give you more protein, but it's going to give you more fiber. It's also going to give you omega-3s, which in the American diet, we have way too many omega-6s, because that's coming from corn chips, all these other things.
Okay.
And you want a balance of the omegas. So it's a great thing is to add the omega-3s and the chia seeds, walnuts, flax seeds. Flax seeds you have to grind.
Right. So if you have, what about hemp?
I love hemp.
So can I do hemp and flax instead of chia, or is?
Sure.
Okay.
Or you don't even need chia. I didn't even put chia in this. Just
Does
'cause
chia like
you love it.
no, it inflates. It gets like chia pudding, it makes it fluffy, right? Well, if you eat like dry chia, thank you. And then like an hour later, those chia seeds like get in my teeth. And then like an hour later, they're like swollen inside my teeth.
I know, but it gives you something to do. You gotta pick them
Yeah.
out.
Not when I have to look at these people and teeth. It's like I'm pulling chia out of my teeth.
I have to tell you, a lot of people like chia pudding.
I
Which-
know.
And I'm, it's like tapioca pudding, but it's gonna be low calorie. It's gonna be good for you. Also, chia seeds are pretty high in calcium. Okay, so what do you think?
Delicious.
You don't even know
No.
it. Now,
No, I don't even taste that silken tofu
or the spinach.
or the spinach. No,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
I probably would have added kale and beet tops and collard greens.
So beet tops, you have your fresh beets, you just whack off the greens and you're eating those, you're
Yeah,
blending those in, and then
Yeah.
your beets you're doing something else with.
because you have more readily available calcium. We all hear about spinach and
Right.
calcium and iron and all that. So just mix it up. Don't go with one vegetable, go with a bunch of them, because you're not going to taste it. Children like this. They
Yeah,
can eat
this is good.
this.
That's
So
good.
another great breakfast for you would be oatmeal. you know, just old fashioned oatmeal. You can either do overnight oats where you get oats and you add a little bit of milk and you stick it in the fridge and you pull it out.
But
Typically,
that has tons of carbs in it. What about this whole thing about
Oh,
carbs?
knew you were gonna do that. Okay, I am not a low carb person. And I know that a lot of people are low carb. I am a proponent of whole food plant-based carbs. I'm a proponent of whole carbs. So I eat brown rice, I eat black rice, I eat beans, I eat potatoes, but I add the skin. One of my favorite snacks is a potato. I just bake like 5 or 6 of them, and then when I get hungry, I grab a potato. If I want something savory with my potato, I'll add spicy mustard and dip it.
Okay.
Potatoes are good for you. You've got to realize that carbs are bad for you when you take out all the nutrition. Right?
Right.
So I'm the keto rave. I'm not a huge fan of because I think we're going to have problems with it. Yes, the studies show that there's reduced diabetes initially. Partly it's due because so many people lose weight on the keto diet because it makes you nauseous after a while. Right? All those ketos, which when I was in nursing, if you had ketos in your urine, that meant there was a problem with your kidney.
In their kidneys,
And
yeah.
now we're forcing them to do it.
And
So-
the kidneys are, in your true ketosis, you're supposed to have your kidneys checked on a regular basis.
Right. Who does that? Okay, tell me one person who actually.
I haven't read it in
once
one
a
keto
month
diet yet. I haven't read that in one keto
To
diet.
guard their kidneys, because that's what they're putting at risk, is their kidneys. I know we have 2, but I personally want both of them. I don't want to
Yeah.
share my kidneys unless it's a family member, so don't call me.
That's right.
I do have good kidneys, but don't call me. Okay, so,
Real quick, I'll say something about, so Sherri used almond milk.
yeah,
And she gave a couple good things, I think universal, like in this, and you all are smart, but I'm gonna say it anyway. When you're looking at stuff and you're like, the fewer ingredients on anything. So if you're purchasing anything in a package, one of the key things is not necessarily just the nutrients, but look at how many ingredients, the fewer, the better. The other thing I wanted to say, for those of you who are focused on your calcium, which I want you to be, I did a whole big study on hemp milk, soy milk, almond milk, cashew milk. What are the others? I think those are the biggies.
yeah.
Hemp was the best. Okay.
Oh, was it?
So nutrition wise, you're not going to get a ton of protein. Okay. So some people are liking that they're adding protein to some of these. You're not going to get a ton of protein in hemp. You're going to get about 3 grams, but we have so many other places to get protein, not enough places necessarily to get the calcium, although Sherri's given me some really good stuff. So if you're looking at supplementing a non-dairy milk, hemp has the highest level of calcium,
Nice.
and it's absorbable. So
We love it.
Yep.
Okay,
you can't get it at
so-
Costco, and you can't get it at Trader Joe's,
Yeah,
but you can get it at Sprouts and some of those other places.
and it's good. It tastes good.
No, it's good. I like it.
The other thing I wanted to say, think. It's those blood vessels. They need more
See?
vitamins and minerals from food.
We talked about heart
Uh-oh.
disease,
Heart disease,
and so not only losing weight, but plant-based is great for weight loss,
And
great for
reducing diabetes. So type 2 diabetes, a lot of people will, on a plant-based diet, you have to be really cautious too, because your blood sugars start to stabilize pretty fast. Because again, you're not eating food that's stimulating the insulin from being able to get it into your blood cells. The insulin is more mobile and goes into your cells. So it carries the glucose, so you have lower glucose. The other thing is, if you have high blood pressure, make sure you're monitoring it, because a lot of people, their blood pressure goes back to normal. And if you're already on medication, you need to make sure you don't
come off of
bring
it.
it too low.
So we can get rid of blood pressure meds.
And now type 1 diabetes, because that is part of your pancreas. It's not just part of the fat cells and insulin and glucose. Probably you can't reverse that because the pancreas has been pretty damaged, but you'll use less insulin,
Right.
which is a bonus. But we were also talking about Alzheimer's and heart disease, and you know, it was a really tough for me to learn, and I should have known it as a nurse, that if your heart is clogged, if the blood vessels to your heart are clogged, the blood vessels to your brain are too. They're exactly the same vessels. And so a lot of times Alzheimer's, dementia, memory loss can be related to lack of oxygen because the brain's not working as well because it's not getting what it needs. And so just anything that you're doing for heart healthy, you're also doing for brain healthy.
I think that's
Right.
key. That's.
Yeah, and I worry about raising kids, and I don't want my kids to have to try to take care of me. So I do a good job of taking care of me so they don't have to. Okay, so we're gonna now make garbanzo bean, but when I talked about the oatmeal, you can make a batch of about 3 or 4 days, scoop it out every day that you need it, keep it in the fridge and then scoop it out. I always add my blueberries because I want to have the blueberries daily or berries daily. I would add walnuts so that I have extra protein, but I also have the omega-3s on top of it. And when you're putting a cup of blueberries on oatmeal, who cares what's underneath those blueberries, right? Because people don't like oatmeal very often. But when you have a cup of blueberries and you have walnuts on top, who cares what's underneath, right? You could put spinach underneath, nobody cares. So that's another good recipe to have. Another one of my newest favorite, because I feel like people, I don't want you to feel like you only can have a smoothie, you can only have oatmeal. My newest favorite one is a sweet potato. I'll bake a sweet potato. I'll put cinnamon on the sweet potato. Cinnamon's good to lower your blood sugar naturally. And then I also put on my blueberries and walnuts. And that's my breakfast. It's hugely filling. It's incredibly low calorie. It's going to give me everything that I need to move. It's anti-inflammatory because, you know, the blueberries, you've got the purple colors that help your body. The sweet potato, the orange yam, whatever, is really good for you. It's going to give you the energy you need. So that's 3 different breakfasts that you can throw together. So now we're going to do mayo. I don't know about you guys. I love mayonnaise. You know?
I don't.
I love mayonnaise, but I don't eat it because it's.
But I'm excited about this because I don't like mayonnaise, and so you're gonna make it a different way. No, I know, no.
It's like mayonnaise.
Oh, well, maybe. All right, we'll see.
So we're gonna use that other half of the silken tofu, little bit of salt, little bit of garlic powder, and we're gonna send you this recipe, you guys. I'm going to add cashews because it is going to give me that fat texture. You can use a 1/4 cup or a 1/2 cup. I'm going to just do a 1/4 cup because I put it in a small container. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Dijon mustard. It's only going to be about a teaspoon. And some people hate how I cook because I cook going, oh, I'm going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But the main thing is I taste it as I go. And you know, the really fun thing about whole food plant-based, there's no eggs or any chicken juices, so you don't get sick while you taste it.
So you can keep tasting.
You can keep tasting.
So she did a 1/2 of a package of tofu. I'm watching.
Silken tofu and
1/4 cup of cashews. I'll give you the recipe. She really did a teaspoon of the Dijon mustard.
And I'm doing a tablespoon of
apple cider vinegar. Nice.
So, you know, apple cider vinegar is great for your blood sugar too.
Yes.
Then I'm just going to put the lid on. Hopefully it'll fit. I did add a little bit of salt. I would have added onion powder, garlic powder, just because I love it. And it's a bonus for health.
Look at that little attachment.
Isn't that cool?
Wow.
Okay, ready? It's coming again. I can do this better. Now, if you're using cashew and you don't have a Vitamix, because you know
Vitamix doesn't have that.
Well, you have to buy it. You have to buy it.
Okay.
But I don't know if you guys can see this, but it looks beautiful. We're gonna make Debbie taste it because she doesn't like mayonnaise.
I don't, but I might like that.
Tell me what you think.
Okay, let's see.
I might need more salt. Cashews are a little sweet, so you have to cut it out. What do you think?
A little more salt,
A little salt?
but it's not. It does taste like
Yeah.
mayonnaise, but it's not that weird mayonnaise.
It's not fat and it doesn't stick to your tongue.
No, does not stick to my tongue.
So you can,
How much salt did you put in before?
I put in about a 1/2 teaspoon. It needs more
It needs a
salt.
little bit more.
Okay, so I didn't tell you what we're making. We're making no tuna salad.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So
No tuna salad.
now I've got garbanzo beans. Again, garbanzo beans, great protein, great fiber, great, you name it.
What happens if it makes you bloaty and gassy?
You know, people do complain about that. Yeah, you kind of have to get used to it. It goes away.
My family doesn't like it.
I know.
Beans are, I love beans. I love
So,
lentils,
okay.
I love beans, I love garbanzo beans. If I make them myself, I know with garbanzo beans, if I buy them dry and I soak them and I do it myself
For
and I do a
24,
little, I do a little of,
Seaweed?
no, fenugreek,
Yeah, okay.
what's that? How do you say it?
Fenugreek?
Fenugreek. I read something that was supposed to help and it does. And then you change the water.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you don't cook it in the same water.
No, but I mean like maybe the first couple of hours, you change it a
Yeah.
couple of times because that's part of where the gases are. But anyway, I've done it and it's better,
Okay,
but it's
part
still
of it
something
is-
I fall away from because I don't want to be all bloated. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
4 months pregnant.
Initially, you're gonna experience that because you're getting so much fiber.
Okay.
So basically, if you're cooking your own beans, you can soak them for 12 to 24 hours. You're gonna cut your soaking time in half. You want to drain that water. You don't want to cook them in the same water you're soaking them in. You don't want to add the salt to the water because it makes them a little bit stiffer while you're cooking them.
Oh, okay.
Add the seasoning afterwards, and we should be doing that anyway. And then start out slow and increase them. But they're so good for you, you don't want to miss out on beans, and you've got to kind of adjust your intestinal tract to them.
How long is it gonna take?
Not long. It's really not going to be long. Now,
Really? So if
you
I just
can't-
have to keep dealing with it,
yeah, and yeah.
I'll let you know how that goes.
And what I would do then for you is I would cook the beans twice out of a can. So this is a recipe where we're just going to drain the beans and we're going to smash them and we're going to put them in here.
Okay.
But if I knew you had that problem, I would have cooked the beans again ahead of time
Like boil them up?
and drain them and then put them in the salad after they're cool.
Okay.
So now you're just gonna have to gas it up all the way home.
Okay.
I hope your car is ready. The reason I'm showing you guys how I drain the beans is because that liquid in these beans is soluble fiber. Soluble fiber is a pretty amazing thing. It's also called aquafaba, right? And if you've seen any recipes for aquafaba, you can make whipped cream out of it. I could have added it into my mayo to make it a little even more creamy.
Okay.
So save the juice and then look up what aquafaba is, because it's nice. Two kinds of fiber in beans. You've got your soluble fiber, which is the liquid. So if you're making soups or stews, add the liquid. Black beans, no, because that's going to change the color. But pinto beans, kidney beans, you're making chili, put the whole can with the juice in it because that's going to give you the soluble fiber. Soluble fiber and is really good for our bloodstream. It helps to reduce our cholesterol levels, things like that. So don't just throw it away. All right, so we're going to mash these up.
I'm taking notes. You guys don't have to, but I'm doing.
Oh, good. I'm just going to mash them up because I honestly don't like the texture of certain beans. I'm a texture person, like I can't eat peas because or lima beans because of the texture. I know it's a personal problem.
Lima beans that I wouldn't eat anyway.
I know, but so
That was a bad thing as a kid.
oh, wasn't it?
Yes.
I always had pockets, so mine would go in my pocket. But so you want to kind of mash it up so that it feels more, more like tuna.
Ah, okay, so
Right?
so we're trying to get a tuna consistency with garbanzo beans.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't mash enough.
That's all right.
That was a funny masher.
It was for the aquafaba.
Oh. It wasn't a masher at all. Let's see. Here we go.
Oh,
There we go. That's more like it. I used to cut to mash them because I do like mashed beans. I don't like not.
that was inventive right away. Bottom
See?
of the cup, perfect.
Then I'm adding parsley. And think about this. Everything I'm adding is supporting your health. Parsley helps to clean our blood. It's bright green. It's got all the nutrients. It's got vitamin C in it. I'm going to add celery for crunch. And I'm a color person. I love color in my food. I'm not happy if my food looks gray and, oh, yeah, like meat. Hate it. So I'm adding red bell pepper and I've got cucumbers, all these vegetables. don't
I
know if
have
you
this
guys can
recipe,
see.
so don't worry.
Okay, so all those wonderful vegetables. And then I'm gonna add,
And you call this the healthy detox salad.
no, that's the next
Oh,
one.
that's the next one.
This is
Oh,
my
my head.
tuna.
Oh, this is the no,
Yeah.
salad.
How cute is that?
That is very cute.
Okay, so then I'm just gonna mix it. Now that mayonnaise is amazing, and if you made too much, because most of the time the recipe requires a whole container of silken, you can put it in ice cube trays and freeze it.
Ah,
And then when you make like tempeh bacon or tofu bacon, and you want a BLT, tempeh bacon,
right.
you've got your mayo in the freezer. You just have to blend it up a little bit
Okay.
to make it soft again.
I like that.
See?
Helpful
Helpful little tips.
mayo in freezer.
Okay, and then we're gonna add pickle relish because what tuna is not tuna without pickle relish. Now, if you want, you can add olives, capers.
Oh, capers.
Lemon
Capers,
juice.
I would do capers. I wouldn't
Yeah.
do the pickle relish. I would do
And
capers. That would be my choice.
I love capers. Before we talked to you, Debbie was talking to me about her favorite olive oil.
I love olive oil. What's wrong with olive oil? It's tastes really delicious.
Olive oil is pure fat.
Yeah, but it's
There's
healthy for
nothing
you.
else in it. Yeah, well, is it? Tell me, is pure fat healthy for me?
I think it is.
So for people who really can't give up olive oil, I ask them to just eat olives. Because then you're getting the whole thing. You're getting the fiber, you're getting what other nutrients are in your olives, as well as that olive oil, but you're getting it in the whole olive form. And you have to think about, I told you I was a volume eater. I would rather eat 12 olives than a tablespoon of olive oil.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna fill up more, I'm gonna get other nutrients than just oil. Right? Because if you
right.
look chemically, what is an olive oil besides olives?
Yeah, well,
Olive or the oil from the olive. So you could add lovely olives. Black olives would be pretty with this. So basically that's what it looks like. I don't know if you guys can see it. So now we're gonna make Debbie eat it. I never eat when I do cooking classes.
I'll eat it.
It's just too hard because then I get food in my teeth and you might need salt. Yeah.
I'm not a big salt person, but
Oh, good. Well, salt is not good for you because basically salt, what do you think?
That's good.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
a little bit of salt too on some would be good, but
Yeah, you know, it'd be even better is, well, salty olives, but you could also.
I would do the olives.
Yeah,
She's
and
taking away my olive oil.
you could add a little bit of mustard to give it even more depth.
Yep,
Okay.
that's good. Delish.
Yeah, you could see that on a
I could
bread.
totally see that on bread. I could totally see it on like top with the salad, you know, like the.
Yeah, that's how I like it. Or,
Yeah.
you know, one of my favorite, if you're trying to release weight is how I say it. Release weight. It's kind of like saying goodbye to your weight. You could add, which would be even healthier, collard greens. If you guys have ever had collard greens, you can take the stem out gently and then you wrap it up. Put that in there and wrap it up like a burrito. And so you're getting
would be
the
good.
extra calcium from the collard greens, which are really high in calcium. You're
Yeah,
getting
that
the
would be
extra fiber, you're getting all those other things. And it's really low calorie.
Nice.
Okay?
A collard green wrap. How
Yeah.
many of you have done that?
Anybody?
I haven't. Has anybody done a collard green wrap?
They're really good. They're really good. And if they're too textured, you can kind of take them in, like, have you ever had a kale salad where the kale has been massaged?
I always massage my kale.
Isn't that nice? Just massage it.
Always massage.
So you have a choice of massaging them with oil.
I do it with lemon.
You can do lemon. You could even do an avocado.
Oh,
So
Okay.
take a quarter of an avocado, clean hands, get the avocado in your hands, get a big bowl of kale and just work it. And it comes out a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, pour lemon over it. dice up the rest of the avocado and throw in palm of heart.
She keeps throwing all of these recipes. I'm like, okay. All right.
Okay,
Massage kale. So massage kale is really, if you don't like kale or you have that tough, massaging it makes a huge difference. You can simply not put anything on it, depending on how you're using your kale, and
Yeah.
just massage it with nothing.
yeah, you can.
And that will break down the fibers and make it a little bit easier to eat. But if you want to really break it down, if you're cooking it or breaking it down it's not going to cook that long. If you add the lemon will break down the fiber, add a little bit of flavor. But I
Yeah.
like the avocado idea. That's
Yeah, because then you
really
get
cool.
that oil that people like.
So it was massage kale. What else? Lemon.
Lemon, salt, pepper, the rest of the avocado diced stuff.
Oh,
and then-
avocado we were gonna massage it with
Yeah.
avocado. Yeah.
And
Okay.
what's left over, you put in your salad. And then you're gonna,
I like that.
heart of palm. It's a wonderful salad. I take it to potlucks all the time. Cause I learned a long time ago, if you take something you'll eat, you'll get food.
True. I
When
no, I
you're
do that
plant-based.
100% of the time. 100% of the
Yeah.
time.
Otherwise, you're on your own.
Yeah, 100% of the time.
Nobody's
Always
caring
take
about
what
you.
I'll eat.
So this is called a detox salad. And the reason we call it detox salad is because it has got so much wonderful fiber.
Wait, we have
and
to show you
nutrition.
this. Okay. I can't even get it all. All right. Everything. Look at this. It's all cut
prepped.
up. This is called food prep, people. So one of the things about eating this way,
Yeah.
the food prep is key. All right. Food prep is key. She's cut everything up already.
Yeah.
This stuff pre-cut. Okay. It's going to take a bit of time, but how long is all of this going to last in your fridge?
Well, this is one salad.
Well, okay, but I'm
But
not
if
gonna eat
I
all
did-
of, but this is gonna feed how many people?
Oh, probably 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And it's a salad that you can eat for lunch the next day and the next day, as well as the other.
But if I were prepping this stuff for maybe
Yeah.
3 different or 4 different
Mhm.
recipes, it's gonna sit in my refrigerator for,
A good week.
there you go.
Good
So
5
one
days.
day, that's that committed day of
Well,
prepping.
and I have to tell you, what you can do with a lot of this is, okay, so let's say we're prepping real fast, because I know you guys have valuable time. I don't want to overstay my visit. You have valuable time. So you prep your veggies, and this I just use to shredder. And you can use
Oh.
your food processor and just shred up a bunch of veggies. I'm gonna put them in a salad. But you know what? You could put this in brown rice that you've cooked, like I'll cook brown rice. And I'll make like 3 to 6 cups of brown rice, and then I put them in individual packages and freeze them so that I can just pull them out and add it. But you could add this to brown rice, and you can add soy sauce, chili peppers, a little bit of maple syrup, because when things are very vinegar and acidic, you need the maple syrup to cut that vinegar taste. And you've got a wonderful salad. Add some black beans or edamame beans, and you've got another dinner. Or you could just say, oh, I'm done with it. I'm going to make a vegetable soup.
Oh, perfect, perfect.
Okay, so this is your beet tops. I didn't want to throw out the beet tops, so I minced them, and they're wonderful for you. They're raw, like everything else. This is kind of a raw food salad, if you want the truth. I just thought of that. This is shredded broccoli. Now, remember, I don't think we talked about it as a group, but cabbage family foods are really anti-cancer. So we're talking Brussels sprouts, broccoli, red cabbage, green cabbage. All of the cabbage family really helps reduce cancer.
Is cauliflower in that?
Yep. So this was broccoli. I also did shaved Brussels sprouts. Let's see. I know I did. Yep. This salad will last in your refrigerator for probably 3 or 4 days, even though it has dressing, because I'm not adding anything other than good food to the dressing. This is spinach or kale, green kale, because remember, I'm into color, and you can't see this yet, but I'll show you. Again, I'm going to add parsley and cilantro because I love parsley and cilantro. It's added nutrition, added flavor. You can skip any of these things. You add what you love. This is parsley. Red cabbage, because we love cabbage, and why not add color? Is that you?
No, somebody probably had a dead battery.
Oh. Red bell pepper, again, because we want color. It's gonna be so much salad.
I know, that's.
Okay, now we're gonna do carrots. I mean, this is beautiful,
It's
right?
gorgeous. It
Isn't
is
it
really pretty.
beautiful? We haven't even mixed it yet. Okay. And then I'm
Okay,
gonna
do
top
that.
it off with a little extra protein. I'm gonna
Can y'all
add
see
some
that?
roasted,
Look how pretty.
isn't that gorgeous? I'm gonna add some, just, baked almonds, just for crunch. Okay, how pretty is that? Next, we're gonna make a salad dressing that is so easy and healthy. The whole point is this is healthy for you. It's gonna really give you lots of good food. Okay, so I have to get to so I don't mess it up, because I just throw things together. Do you have the recipe? Oh, orange juice. So this was 1 large orange. I washed it up. So 1 large orange. Just juiced. You can use orange juice pre-made, but remember, you're gonna lose a lot of the nutrition. We're gonna add ginger. 1 tablespoon grated ginger. Ginger is wonderful for your tummy. That's gonna help your gassy tummy.
I love ginger.
You know,
I
one of
love
the
ginger. I eat ginger all the time.
one of the best things for you, can't drink it in the living room, but it's tea made out of ginger, turmeric, and maple syrup in hot water.
I do,
Anti-inflammatory.
I do a turmeric golden milk every night.
Oh, see, that's what
So,
it is.
and
but I
there's,
put
yeah,
the
it's
milk.
maple, I mean, it's hemp milk. I use hemp milk.
Yeah, but
And then turmeric, yeah, ginger, cinnamon, maple syrup.
I love it.
Yeah. It's
Okay, we're gonna add miso. Do you guys know what miso is? And do you know? Okay, so
Soybean.
miso is fermented soybean, or you can do rice too if you don't like soy.
fabulous. That's
It's-
fabulous.
And it lasts forever. The only trick is if you want it to last forever, always use a clean spoon and don't double dip. And it can last for years, a year.
And
if
it,
it lasts.
and it's live, so
Yeah.
if you use it to cook, you don't boil.
No,
You don't boil it because it's live.
and it gives you that umami taste, you know, it gives you that yummy
I love
taste.
miso.
I love me some miso.
I love
that what you
miso. I do.
A rice vinegar. Now, again, I'm gonna add, we talked about adding maple syrup.
Now, do you have just plain rice or do you have a seasoned rice?
This is just rice.
Okay.
Oh,
Because there's the seasoned one that has sugar.
oh, that's Terry's. Terry, what kind?
Nope, no, there's sugar in this.
Well,
So there's
better
two
taste.
different kinds of, when you get rice vinegar. You'll get, if it says seasoned, it's usually seasoned with sugar.
Yeah, I don't need it.
Yeah,
Good to
if-
know.
yeah, so there's two, so. Look at it, if it says seasoned, there's rice vinegar and seasoned rice. Seasoned rice usually has a couple other things in it, but usually the big thing is sugar.
Well, and I'm not gonna then add maple syrup. If it was the rice vinegar I use at home, there's no sugar in it. And
And then you added the maple to
I
that.
added maple. And why I like maple syrup, because maple syrup is a lower glycemic index. So your blood sugar is not going to shoot up as much. It's more natural.
Tastes good too.
It tastes yummy.
I love it.
But when you're doing something with vinegar, you want to have a little bit of a sweet, just like if you're making your own tomato sauce,
Okay,
you might want to add carrots to it, so that the acidity of the tomatoes isn't too much.
Yes,
So the
yes.
same thing with dressing, just a little bit takes the acidity away. Okay, we're doing this one more time. Now, the reason I did this was because of the miso. You don't have to use the blender. And I wanted to say, if you're doing a cashew dressing, I like cashew because it gives you the creamy, fatty flavor that people like in a lot of like desserts, my mayo, my cheese sauce, I'll use cashew. You don't have to have a Vitamix, but then you should soak your cashews for a couple hours in hot water. Because the Vitamix can handle it and make it creamy.
gotcha.
Okay.
But otherwise you need to soak it.
You need to soak it. Okay, so that's it. I mean, other than all the the prepping, this is it.
All right, I have one question and then I'm gonna unmute and you guys can, there's a couple of things on the chat, so I'm gonna look and see what that is, but. Question, why do some vegans not look vegan? They are plump and juicy, like
Yes,
what's
they
going
are.
on with that vegan diet? If somebody's
Okay.
got carrying extra weight,
Yeah.
but they're vegan, what's going on?
What's going on is the vegan products that we have out there are, most of them are very, very high fat. And you can eat Oreos and be a vegan. You can eat, French
French
fries
fries.
and be a vegan. Okay, so really, truly being vegan is not always being health conscious. Being plant-based is being health conscious. So I don't tell people that I'm an actual vegan. I tell them that I'm a plant-based person.
Okay,
Because you can eat pretty much anything and you have to be really careful because plant-based has turned into a new catchphrase. Unfortunately, the food industry is out there to basically sell you food. Bottom line, they don't care what kind of food. They don't care if you eat Cheetos. They don't care if you eat Doritos. Hey, potato chips are vegan. Why aren't you eating potato chips? All they care about is a profit right now. So they know the new buzzword is plant-based. Okay,
Got it.
so I have gone, and plant-based is not animal products. It's plant-based. Now, technically, is a cow plant-based? I guess it could be, right?
Right,
Kinda,
right.
sorta.
cause it's eating,
It's eating
Grass.
plants.
it's eating
so-
plants.
but
Somebody
it's
else told
not.
me that. One of my clients recently said, I'm plant-based because what I eat eats plants.
Yeah, no.
So.
No. And when people go, how can you be strong on a plant-based diet? How can you be strong? Look at elephants, look at gorillas, look at, all those animals are plant-based and they're some of the biggest animals on earth. So a vegan basically can either be very health conscious, and that means not having coconut oil, coconut fat, all those other things. Because you really are what you eat. And fat is higher calorie, so if you're not gonna use all the calories, you're gonna store them.
All right.
So, let me
She's gonna
give the-
mix this salad and I'm gonna check out the chat real quick here. And then if you have a question while I'm checking out the chat, if you can go ahead and unmute and give us your questions.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some more food.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm getting fed well tonight.
You're probably gonna be
Okay,
gassy 'cause you're
silken,
probably
it's
not-
okay, so somebody's asking about the type of tofu, it's silken, I'll put it on the list. So there's firm, there's extra firm and silken, like silk. So
Yeah.
the silken is just, it's just very soft.
And
Thank you.
the things you would use them differently for, so if you have an air fryer, you can use the firm or extra firm tofu, you can marinate it and you can air fry it in your air fryer and you can turn it into, you know, like bacon, or you can turn it into chunks just to eat with your fingers, right? And how you do bacon is you cut the tofu really thin, after you've
Mm,
drained it. And a lot of times I'll wrap it up in a clean towel and try to express the water out, and then I'll slice it and I'll marinate it. The marinade for bacon is so easy. It's soy sauce, maple syrup, little bit of vegan Worcestershire if you want, you don't have to. Garlic, salt, pepper, it's delicious. And it's got that taste. But you need to add, and we'll give you the recipe for it, but you need to add a little bit of smoke so that you feel, you know.
smoke flavor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then marinate it and then just air fry it and put it.
Taking out the water is important, so that's a big step. They have tofu presses, but I just use a cast iron pan. And just-
Yeah, I just use a
and-
clean towel and
Yeah,
wrap it up
cast
and put
iron.
it under appliances.
All right, let's see, somebody said it's delicious.
Mhm.
Yes. Alzheimer's called type 3 diabetes.
Mhm.
So can you address that?
I've heard.
Uh-oh, she just ate. We'll come back to that. Let's see. What measurement of walnuts do you use for one serving of oatmeal? That's probably like
ounce.
an ounce. Okay, so a little bit of a handful.
An ounce
Okay.
is a serving.
One serving of walnuts in your oatmeal. Do you soak your cashews? Yes, we talked
Mhm.
about that. yeah, soaked is gonna make them just softer unless you have a Vitamix, which will blend it well. Does the second cooking drain the nutrients from the beans? She says no.
And also, when I cook brown rice, because we're worried about arsenic in brown rice, right? Well, a lot of the arsenic in brown rice is water soluble. All of it isn't, but a majority of it is. So I actually boil my brown rice like pasta. I
Oh.
get a big pot of water, pour my rice in, boil it until it's just right. And how do I know it's just right? Because I taste it. And then I drain it in a strainer.
Okay.
And you can dry it out a little bit, put it on a cookie sheet, tap it dry, put it in baggies, or put it in containers, silicone containers, freeze it, and then you always have blocks of brown rice for when you're hungry.
And the other thing that I heard too is that the arsenic in rice is not, it's if you're consuming it every day, all the time, for long periods of time, then we have issue with it.
Yeah.
So it was, the recommendation was changing your grains up. You can use it and eat it. You just don't want to have a ton of it all the time and have it be your main source, your main grain. So
But I have to tell you, if you look at countries that are so huge on rice, they're not dying from arsenic.
right. Yeah, I was thinking about that one too, and I read that. Okay, here's my question. It's not my question,
Oh, it's
but
type
who,
3,
no, wait.
type
Yeah,
3
go ahead and
is-
address that one, yes. So Alzheimer's being referred to as type 3 diabetes.
It doesn't surprise me, right? Because basically we're talking about damaging our blood cells, because part of the reason that diabetes have so much injury, eyes, kidneys, right, extremities, is because we have too much circulating glucose. Glucose is a very big molecule. And if you think about it, going through those small vessels, like our eyes, like our kidneys, it causes damage, blockage, inflammation. Same thing's happening in our brain that's happening to our kidneys and our eyes, right?
Interesting.
So I'm sure that high glucose is damaging the blood vessels in our brain. Now, some people are just more prone to Alzheimer's, unfortunately, because there's a genetic link, but it's not as many as we think. And there's a famous plant-based doctor, I think it was Esselstyn. He did a study on heart disease, and he actually did MRIs of heart patients, and he only took the most severe heart patients, the ones that couldn't survive surgery. And he worked on diet, exercise, and sleep with them. And this is the diet, whole food, plant-based.
Okay.
And he has documented proof of those vessels opening and the extra little vessels that had already gone to nothing, closed completely up, reopening. So we know you can reverse heart disease. We know you can reverse diabetes. We don't know if you can reverse Alzheimer's, but we know we can slow it down or prevent it. So just because you have a genetic link for something, that's maybe the gun, but your food is the bullet. Isn't
Nice.
that
I
cool?
like that. I
I
like
know,
that.
I like that too.
All right, let's see who asked this question, because this is one I like this question. It came from Misha. Thank you, Misha.
I mean,
Okay, you're my favorite right now. If you don't use olive oil, if no
Mhm.
olive oil, what do you use to saute?
Haha, good question. And if we do another class, I'll teach you how to cook onions and garlic without oil. I use water or vegetable broth.
Water or vegetable broth? All
That's
right,
it.
so I guess we have another class. Let me just look through this real quickly. Extra virgin olive, so extra virgin olive oil. Lori, thank you. Extra virgin olive oil improves circulating levels of LDL, VLDL, and HDL based on human studies from countries where olives and olive oil are key components of the diet.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue, but why not eat the oil, the olive instead of the oil? Why not just get the fiber and all the nutrients from the actual
Whole food.
whole food? And you have to remember, how many olives does it take? How many olives per tablespoon of olive oil? And let me ask you, and remember, you guys, we're here to share this with you. You get to take it in the direction you want it. We're not here to judge. We're not here to say that if you eat another piece of meat or a fish or olive oil, we're going to shun you. We're here to say we know that the proof is going to help you no matter what amount of added vegetables you added to your life. So, but what I'm saying is, why don't you just eat the olive? Why condense it to such a high volume of calories in this small amount of food? And olive oil, yeah, it's good for you, but how many people actually measure it out?
I never
many
measure,
people just
never,
go-
never, never. Never measure.
And then you
So-
go, well, that's what, half a cup of, or a
No, mine
quarter
is
cup?
always 1 tablespoon, no matter how much I put in the thing.
Really?
It's always 1 tablespoon, no matter how many things like this I do.
And the number of calories in that 1 tablespoon is pretty high. So why don't you just eat the olive instead?
No. Well, so we have to do the cooking thing because that's
Yeah.
really where I'm using it in cooking. That's the most. All right, let's see if we can, Mediterranean countries, that was okay. We talked
And
about
you know
that.
what? Part of the Mediterranean diet is they eat so many fruits and vegetables and grains.
No,
They do have fish. and
they're
they do
plant
have-
forward. So that we
They
talked
are
about the
plant
Mediterranean. I
forward.
was trying to defend myself earlier and said the Mediterranean diet. But it is true, the Mediterranean diet is plant forward. So yes, there's olive oil, but
Yeah.
there's very small portions of meat. There's very small portions of feta. There's very small
Feta.
portions of mozzarella. There's very
Very
small
small.
portions and lots and lots and lots of veggies.
Well,
So
and
I
to
think,
compare the cancer and Alzheimer's to a lot of the countries that are really plant forward until, fast food
oh, yeah.
got into the market, like the Japanese and all that. Cancer rates in women was so low until they became westernized.
And then
So,
we had our high protein, low carb snacks.
okay. How come low carb?
How come, so whoever asked that, I think, let's see if I can guess. Barbara. I don't know if Barbara, if you're still there.
Barbara,
You
how
can
come low
you can
carb?
unmute Barb.
Because of diabetes, I'm trying to lower my blood sugar.
Carbs, whole food, plant-based carbs, whole carbs don't cause diabetes. So, I know,
Oh, my blood sugar is not low.
I know, but what kind of carbs are you eating?
I'm eating vegetables, grains.
So vegetables shouldn't increase your, vegetables really aren't gonna increase it. We're more worried about with blood sugars being really high are more of the processed carbs. Some studies are showing a very high keto diet will cause increase in blood sugars. Other studies show us that a high keto diet will reduce it because you lose weight. So your blood sugars even out. It would be nice to see you do a study where you only had like brown rice and remember what a serving of brown rice is, a half a cup. A serving of beans is a half a cup. So measuring a serving of the carbs and then look at what your blood sugar does. Start monitoring it to see it because truly all of the whole food plant-based doctors like Dr. Greger, Dr. Esseltyn, Dr. McDougall, they're really proponents of complex carbs for diabetes and heart disease. So start testing and come back to us and tell us what happens when you start eating it and slowly. But you take your blood sugars all the time, so it'd be a great way to do it. So if you want high protein, try edamame beans for a snack with a tiny bit of soy sauce and chili. Try having tofu bites is a really nice way to do it. And the tofu bites, you would just kind of marinate them and then air fry them, things like that. We'll come up with some more lists for you, okay?
Okay, great.
Cool. Great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and I can't wait to see how your body responds to more high carbs that are not processed, that are totally plant-based and no process at all, because the studies are saying it's not the carbs, it's not the fruit, it's more of the dairy and a high animal diet that are increasing it. And fat increases our risk for diabetes.
My
because it
olive
goes
oil.
up. I know, but remember the reason diabetes, we have insulin resistance is because the fat gets in our cells.
Right.
And it doesn't allow that insulin, which is like a choo-choo train, to carry the glucose into our cells. The fat repels the insulin.
Insulin.
And so we get a higher circulating glucose. So reducing fat is probably going to be even better for you than worrying about the carbs. But give it a try. You know,
Let's wrap up real quick.
Okay.
If we have any, I just want to respect your time because we're over. Any final questions? We thank you. There were plenty in the chat.
Yeah.
I'll share and we'll answer any that we didn't. I got to most of them.
yeah, and I saw
Um,
this one, and a lot of
People with
times
Down syndrome are
prone
more
to-
prone to diabetes. There is a connection. Yes.
Yeah, I unfortunately, it could be metabolically an increased risk for Down syndrome that I still say a whole based diet is really going to give us what we need to heal.
All right. One more. Can we have more lectures like this? Yes, we can. This was very, very good. Thank
I'm
you.
so glad.
Thank
And
you.
if anybody has questions, just send them to Debbie that are specific to what you want. Like I'll get some more recipes for you, okay? For high protein.
And if she said one that you loved, go ahead and send me an email and ask me for it. I took some
Yeah.
notes. I'll listen to this again and get it, but I'll put together, because she just shoots them off like at the hip, like this is no big deal. And I'm like, this is a good one. But thank you, Sherri.
Okay,
Thank
thanks
you
so
all
much,
of you for
guys.
joining with us. Yes, we'll do more, Pat. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
for listening. Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.